The first dilemma is from Zeke. I'm 16 and I'm in school and I want to balance self-improvement with school and don't like school, so I'm at a low vibration in school and it messes up my day. What should I do? From Zeke. Okay, Zeke, so I was in your position in a sense. I wasn't on self-improvement when I was your age. Okay, I think that if you're 16 years old and you're on self-improvement, you're way ahead of the game. But what you have to understand is that at 16, school is a part of your self-improvement. Okay, school is actually probably the best place for you to implement a lot of these self-help, self-improvement practices that you've been learning. For example, learning how to talk to women. When you graduate high school, especially if you don't go to college, I can speak from first-hand experience that it becomes much more difficult to even find women, much less interact with them. And it's very easy to lose your social skills that you have in high school simply because you're not socializing as frequently. And believe me when I tell you that social skills are one of the most important aspects of self-improvement. As ironic as it sounds, they're one of the most important aspects of self-improvement that one could possibly implement into their lives. So look at school as an opportunity to work on yourself even further. Use it as an opportunity to interact with people who are your age, because in the next 2 to 3 years, you won't really be able to do that anymore. Once you graduate high school, I'm assuming you're not going to go to college based on the fact that you don't like high school, so you're probably not going to ever have the opportunity to interact with people who are overwhelmingly in your age range. Again, you'll never again have that opportunity, at least to this same extent. So use school as an opportunity to make the most of that potential network, that potential connectivity. Because you don't know what your classmates are going to end up doing. You don't know which of them are on self-improvement. I'm sure some of them are watching self-improvement videos. Maybe some of them watch my videos as well. You never know, unless you actually go out and socialize with them. Now, granted, I'm saying all of this, and I was probably one of the most quiet kids in my entire high school, right? Nobody that I went to school with knew who I was. Even if they saw my videos right now, they wouldn't know it's me, because I never spoke to anybody. That being said, I do wish, retrospectively, that I had spoken to more people, because who knows who else is following a similar path to me that I could have connected with, and it could have made my journey that much easier. Thankfully, I had my core group of friends that I've known since elementary school, but it still would have helped to have had a larger, more expansive network. No matter what you're going to do in life, it behooves you to build a network. Now, understand that my channel is a place where you can do that, but at the same time, learning how to do that in person is also an invaluable skill. Being able to network online as well as in person allows you to flow freely from the digital space into the real world, back and forth. And that right there is something that a lot of people do not know how to do. A lot of people who are really good at socializing in person are not very good at socializing on the internet, and vice versa. I was the type of person who wasn't good at socializing in person, but was very good at socializing on the internet, hence me meeting my girlfriend on the internet. Now, to my point earlier, I didn't like school either. As a matter of fact, I despised school. But despite me despising school, I still managed to get all A's. I never finished a class with a B in high school, and I would never advise anybody to just blow off their high school classes. Because truth be told, they're pretty easy. High school is pretty easy, unless you're going to some sort of prestigious prep school or boarding school, in which case, I don't know why you're there, especially if you don't like school, but if you're at a public high school like I was, then you shouldn't really struggle all that much with classes. Now, I understand that everybody has different ways of learning, and high school isn't really conducive or all-inclusive when it comes to their methodologies, especially specific teachers, right? Some teachers are more aligned with the learning styles of certain students. But what I will say is that you should still do your best. Don't go to high school and just flunk all your classes, skip all your classes. Don't do that. Do not do that. You're 16 years old, and you don't know what you're going to want to be doing in 5 years. 5 years from now, you might completely change your tune and want to go to college and be an engineer. And you don't want to have those bad grades from high school on your record. Right now, obviously, you're 16. Whatever you've done up to this point, you can't change. But I'm saying this to say that you should still do your best despite not liking school. Let's break it down. Okay, you have 24 hours in a day. Let's assume that you sleep for 8 hours. Let's assume that you sleep for 8 hours, you go to school for 8 hours, and then you do an hour of homework. Okay, so that's 9 hours plus 8 hours, 17 hours. You still have 7 free hours every day to work on yourself, for one, and also work on whatever endeavors will allow you to never have to go to school again once you graduate. If I had started a YouTube channel when I was in high school, who knows where I would be right now at the age of 23. I didn't start until I was 19 years old. 19. I graduated when I was 17, didn't start YouTube until I was 19. Who knows how much further I could have gotten with those extra 2 years. 2 years is a very, very, very long time. And you don't really realize that until you build that thing that allows you to look back and say, wow, I've come a very long way in these past 2 years. I've changed a lot in these past 2 years. You can change your life very quickly, but it starts with those 7 hours. You have to use those 7 free hours. Again, I'm not telling you to flunk out. I'm not telling you to drop out. I'm not telling you to skip your classes. I'm telling you to go to school, to get good grades, get the perfect attendance, all of that stuff, and use the 7 free hours that you have to work on yourself. Okay, you go to the gym, you spend about an hour and a half at most. You still have 5.5 hours left. What else are you doing? Okay, me personally, I don't know about you, but for me, my self-development practices don't take me any longer than a couple of hours a day at most. When we talk about journaling, we talk about meditation, we talk about working out, what else is there to do? Right? A lot of the other self-development practices are more subtractive than additive, meaning that you're subtracting things from your life. You're not on social media. You're not watching pornography. You're not beating your meat. These are things to actually give you more time rather than taking it away. So, in other words, you have to figure out how to be better at time management. Time management is probably the single most important skill that you can ever develop in your life. Because we all have the same 24 hours. No matter where you were born, no matter what resources you had access to, whether you're a trust fund baby or if you're from the projects, we all have the same 24 hours. Time is the great equalizer of man. Time is the great equalizer of man. You have to use your 24 hours. Nobody can get 24 extra hours. Nobody can reduce their 24 hours unless they die. Right? So you have to use those 24 hours that you have, that everyone has access to, in the most efficient way possible. And a lot of times what you'll realize is that when you're doing something that you love to do, when you're working towards something, you'll see school in a more positive light, not because you necessarily enjoy it more, but more so because you're working towards something. School is simply a stepping stone to get somewhere else. There's nothing more demoralizing than doing some shit that you don't want to do and not having a goal beyond that. There is nothing worse than that, right? And for me, for example, with YouTube, there was a point in time when I lost the passion for YouTube because I didn't see anything beyond YouTube. I didn't see how YouTube could take me anywhere other than YouTube. And that was a very, very trying time in my life until I developed a vision for myself. I was able to develop a greater vision of being able to do consultations, being able to write books. Being able to have that vision for your life is absolutely critical when it comes to putting things into perspective, whether that be school, whether that be an undesirable work situation, whether that be a situation with the people that you're around. Being able to put things into perspective and understand that these things, these situations that aren't desirable in the moment are taking us somewhere else, that is a very empowering realization to have. And if you allow that to be the foundation of your life at this point in time, like I said, school will become much more positive. You'll see it in a more positive light.